Donald Trump made some comments about doing a general election pivot on a local news show in Wisconsin. Let's see what he has to say.
Do you need to change up your tactics to adhere or, appeal to the general election public crowd? Or
Well, possibly I do, but, I am who I am. It's me. I don't want to change. Everyone talks about, you're going to pivot. I don't want to pivot. I mean, you have to be you. If you start pivoting, you're not being honest with people. And because I've heard this over the years and, with politics, with general politics, also having to do with me. No, I am who I am. I've gotten here in a landslide, and we'll see what happens.
So the media has taken this comment, and they're acting like cackling hyenas. He said he's not going to pivot! He said he's not going to pivot! He's not going to pivot! He's not going to pivot! Okay, so where's the big scandal? They're like, see, what this shows is he obviously doesn't understand the way the game of politics is played. He's throwing out the rule book. And he's winging it, and this shows it right here. And God, he's so stupid, and he's so dumb, and this is a great example of it right here. Okay, there's 1,000,001 things to go after Trump for, and I do it. I do it better and more effectively and efficiently than all these idiots out there. This is not one of the things to attack him on. In fact, if you are attacking him on this, you're an idiot. So, understand, yes, Trump has flip-flopped on virtually every single issue. He's a contradiction machine, and I've covered that in detail. In fact, I just covered it either earlier in this week or the end of last week. So let's keep that in mind for sure. But in isolation, the point that I'm not going to do a general election pivot because I am who I am and embedded in a pivot is a lie, that's totally true. Of course that's true. I mean, look at how brainwashed by our current system the mainstream media is. Like, they've totally forgotten that there was a time when money in politics, it was rightly viewed with shame and scorn. So, if a candidate did raise a lot of money, it wasn't a thing where the media was like, see, they raised a lot of money. They're doing really well. It was like, okay, we raised a lot of money, but try to keep it on the DL because, people aren't idiots. They know that this comes with strings attached. It's not like I'm taking money from all these corporations and they don't expect something in return, because it wasn't even always the case that we had unlimited money in U.S. politics. It was in the late 1970s that we started a series of Supreme Court decisions that allowed money in politics. But today, the media discusses money in politics like it's just part of the system and it's a race and, Hillary Clinton is doing better. She sold out more to big business. Good for her. Well, this is another instance right here. Did you guys know it used to be the case that when people did a general election pivot, when the candidates did that, if a moderator brought it up to them like, are you pivoting? They would have to downplay it and be like, no, I'm standing by everything I said in the primary, because they knew that a pivot, embedded in a pivot, implied in a pivot is, I'm going to go back on the shit I said in the primary. I was just sweet-talking you to get your fucking panties off. Now I got the panties off, and I'm trying to win over other voters, moderate voters in the general election. So if you bring up to them, you're pivoting, no, I'm consistent. That's what I am. I'm not pivoting. I don't know what you're talking about. But now the idiot mainstream pundit class in the U.S., they're so brainwashed by the way the strategists have determined the systems work that they think like they want to encourage candidates. Like, are you going to pivot? Like, when are you going to go back on everything you said and let everybody know it's a lie? Like, everything I said in the primary, irrelevant. Now I'm in the general, I'm a new person. Like, they're cheerleading a pivot. They're like, okay, when are you going to lie? When are you going to change your mind? When are you going to flip-flop? What kind of fucking idiot moron reporters do this? What kind of a disgusting, rotten, rank journalism reporter system here encourages this shit? So Trump says the most reasonable thing he's ever said. I'm against a pivot. I'm not going to pivot. I'm going to fucking say the same shit I said. And instead of their takeaway being, wow, if he means that, that's super honest and the right thing to do and consistent. Instead of doing that, they're pointing their finger and laughing. Well, guys, this is one of many reasons why he's done so well, is that a lot of the things in the rule book for elections are stupid, and he came along and he was like, yeah, fuck that part. Fuck that part. That part makes no goddamn sense. I'm not doing that. Why the fuck would I do that? There used to be an unwritten rule of, look, nobody bring up the money in the system because we're all fucking taking it. So if you bring it up on the primary stage, for example, you've crossed the line and that is taboo in their circles. Trump was like, bitch, I'm not with you guys. And he wasn't able to raise as much money from the donors because they don't fucking like him. So what does he do? He's like, you're all puppets. You're all puppets of the donors. So I'm going to say that. Again, this was another unwritten rule. Like, you don't talk about the money in the system. He's like, I don't care about that rule. I'm just going to say whatever. And this is why the entire pundit class was flummoxed by his winning in the primary. Like, but he broke all the rules. Yeah, but your rules were fucking stupid. The general election pivot is another stupid one. Like, why would we all casually accept it? The pivot is the dumbest thing in politics. I remember when I was a fucking political science student in college, and we're discussing this early on, because this is one of the things that you talk about early on. I'm like, why do we all just accept that? In the primary, they say, I'm this person if you're a Republican. I'm super conservative if you're a Democrat. I'm super liberal. And then in the general, you're like, I'm moderate. I'm like, why do we accept that from anybody? Because obviously at one point, they weren't telling the truth. You want to encourage them to lie? The media can't help themselves. Can't help themselves. So, and by the way, like, they act like, this is proving that he's going to be super far right like he was in the primary. Again, gross, sloppy thinking because it's Donald Trump, so they don't care about being specific and accurate in what the reality is. Donald Trump maintained during the primary, I'm not going to cut Social Security, I'm not going to cut Medicare. He said it repeatedly, he doubled down on it, bucking Republican orthodoxy. He said, I'm going to do infrastructure spending, bucking Republican orthodoxy. He said, I'm against TPP, bucking Republican orthodoxy. He said, at times, half the time, the other half the time he said, I'm going to be the biggest interventionist, but half the time he said, I don't want to be involved in all these wars, we're wasting money. So bucking Republican orthodoxy. So the idea that like, he's not going to pivot and that means he's still super far right, only in some ways is he super far right. In other ways, he's actually to the left of the Republican Party, and in some ways his rhetoric is to the left of Hillary Clinton. So it's just, I don't know. What drives me crazy is the way the media goes after Trump in many respects is just, I can't co-sign it because they don't know what they're doing or what they're saying. Like, there's so many things to go after him for. We have to take out their families, fucking kill civilians in the Middle East, torture. The Geneva Conventions is the problem. We have to lower wages. You know who knows how to go after Donald Trump? Bernie Sanders knows how to go after Donald Trump because he cares about the policy substance. The media, they don't care about policy substance. So, Trump says anything, even if it's vanilla and banal and just obviously rational, and they're like, that's so stupid! It's so stupid because you said it and you're Donald Trump, so it's stupid, right? Right? No, somebody finally speaking out against the goofy, stupid idea of a general election pivot is actually fucking awesome.